You may be missing out on a bigger monthly benefit check, and new inflation data has been released. Two analysts have actually announced a new estimate for the next cost of living adjustment for all Social Security recipients. The average monthly payment may continue to grow this year, and now according to CNBC, new government inflation data points to a 3.2% Social Security COLA in 2024. The Senior Citizens League has said that it would raise the average monthly retirement benefit by about $57. The Senior Citizens League calculations are based on a current average retiree benefit that is lower than the $1,837 as the average monthly retirement benefit amounts signed up by the Social Security Administration. And now, due to the fact that it includes spousal and other dependent benefits in addition to those of coworkers, the projected 3% Social Security COLA is actually much lower than the official 8% increase that beneficiaries saw in 2023. But it is higher than the average annual 2.6% increase over the past 20 years. Amid concerns of inflation, recession, and the future of Social Security, a growing number of employed Americans are contemplating early Social Security benefits while remaining in the workforce. According to a 2022 survey conducted by the Nationwide Retirement Institute, 42% of Americans intend to initiate their Social Security benefits prior to reaching their full retirement age while continuing to work. It represents a notable increase from the 36% reported in 2021. For individuals who have contributed to the Social Security system, the option to claim benefits becomes available as early as age 62, but opting for early benefits can translate into a monthly payment of up to 30% less than what would be received at the full retirement age. That's typically between 66 and 67, depending on the birth year. Now, over the 28 retirement year period, a $534 monthly disparity accumulates to over $128,000 in additional retirement income, while accounting for potential cost of living adjustments designed to keep retirement income in pace with inflation. It's important to note that claiming benefits early isn't necessarily a poor choice, particularly in scenarios where individuals are compelled to retire due to factors like corporate dishousing or health or the responsibility of caring for a family member.
On this list, while also dealing with, frankly, very real political incentives to pile on things to this list that perhaps may not be necessary. But in addition to that, I also want us to explore further the implications of that. As was mentioned earlier, there are very real needs, of course, for minerals in our economy, everything from EVs to a wide range of different uses. But I do want us to explore a little bit on how we can reduce the need for the intensity of these minerals overall. Dr. Mulvaney, what are some of the ways that we can actually reduce some of these supply chain risks for critical minerals that...
We have a 10 news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, assigned as GI. Continue watching this video, guys. We have a ton of information about this. Now, if you claim Social Security, you need to be aware of this. The top leaders and lawmakers are currently discussing the future of Social Security as more Americans struggle to pay bills. Advocates are pushing Congress to approve further relief checks. Republicans and Democrats are even pushing their own plans that they believe would improve Social Security. And now the new presidential candidate, Mike Pence, wasn't afraid to talk about this weekly political perilous choice for vice presidents and Social Security Medicare. Now he has faced an uphill battle and bringing the rest of the field into that conversation. An advocacy group of older Americans, the low-income older Americans, are getting hurt not only by inflation, but also from the end of the extra food stamp aid in March, which impacted 30 million people enrolled in the SNAP benefits. The worst hit of all groups were older Americans, with some experiencing a drop in benefits from $281 a month to as little as $23. Although inflation is ticking down from a peak a year ago, the costs are still ranked high as the budget category that risked increased the fastest over the past 12 months. Inflation is a top concern for all lawmakers, but it's especially burdensome for older Americans. It is why it's important for lawmakers to approve additional relief for seniors and retirees. A trio of bills aimed at cutting property taxes for New Jersey seniors have cleared committee with bipartisan support this week, and the bills introduced by the Assembly Speaker will cut property tax in half for seniors and expand eligibility to certain health benefit programs. The main bill defines the Stay in New Jersey plan as a proposal to address lowering tax costs for seniors to ensure that they stay in New Jersey instead of going to other states where the cost of living is cheaper.
Today, we're accelerating the implementation of the Dependent Care Flexibility Spending Account, which will give military families the option to receive a pre-tax benefit for daycare, preschool, and summer camps, and much more. This order also focuses on providing resources resources for military spouses or entrepreneurs like some of the folks up here on the stage will be here in a moment. That includes exploring new funding options like grants and loans to help military spouses start and sustain their businesses, and developing new resources that are going to make it easier for entrepreneurs to relocate their businesses if they have to PCS. Folks, let me close with this. Next month, we'll celebrate 50 years of the all-volunteer force. At the time, there was some debate about whether or not we could draw in the talent we needed, about whether Americans would answer the call to serve. But 50 years on, we see so clearly all of you who raised your hand, all of you who volunteered, are the reason that our military today is the greatest fighting force in the history of the world, bar none. That's the reason. And the reason we've been able to sustain that force year after year, decade after decade, is because military spouses, caregivers, and survivors have answered the call as well. You have your loved ones' backs, just like they have the country's back. So the only way to keep this force strong for the next 50 after that, we keep our promise. We uphold the sacred obligation we bear to our military members, our veterans, our spouses, caregivers, and survivors. Today, I'm here as Commander-in-Chief to sign this executive order because it matters. It matters to our military recruitment and retention. It matters to our troops' readiness and resilience.
Is really experiencing a backlog of claims. We talked about this last night, which I know really got worsened during the COVID-19 pandemic. And then, of course, with the passage of the PACT Act last year, the number of benefits, veterans seeking benefits is only going to rise. So I wanted to ask you, if confirmed, what are you going to do to make sure that veterans are receiving timely responses to their claims?
Senator Murray, thank you very much for that question. When I was...
I'm so glad you're here today. You have a doctorate in chemical engineering. It's my understanding that most natural gas pipelines, and we talked about them, are not equipped to ship blends of methane and hydrogen where the hydrogen component is greater than 20%. Could you please explain to all of us how a conventional natural gas pipeline differs from a pipeline which is capable of shipping blends with more than 20% hydrogen?
Sure. Thank you for the question, Senator Barrasso. So hydrogen, being such a small molecule and corrosive, can create cracks and attack imperfections.
Are stimulus checks going to be sent out immediately? I know many of you are wondering what's the status for fourth round of stimulus payments. Well, new information has just been released, everybody. I know many of you are hoping for another round of enhanced child tax credit law this year passed by congressional lawmakers. However, you might live in one of the many states making plans to send more money